Which one? We lost two this week. The HP or the Lugia? It's HP. Okay. Good evening. We'll start with our pledge to the flag, and I'll ask Director Clark if he would lead us in that.
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director.
You're welcome.
We'll begin with the Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, February 25th, 2017 at 12 noon, and Monday, February 27, 2017 at 9 a.m. on Channel 14. Webcast is at www.sacmetrocable.tv. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.metrofire.ca.gov. We'll start with our consent calendar. Do we have any questions on it?
Anybody from the public want to chat at us?
Oh, thank you. Go back. This is the opportunity for matters of public comment, whether they're on or not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, do we have anybody?
There are no speakers this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Director.
Mr. Chair, I move consent.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Can we get a vote, please?
Director Gale.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Sheets. Aye. Clark.
Aye.
And Wood.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. At this time, we will recess to closed session, and we'll be back shortly.
Okay.
All right, we're back from closed session. And Council, would you please report out?
Yes, Director Wood. The board met in closed session to consider four separate matters. The first was the workers' compensation claim under item 1, John Costello in Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. By unanimous vote, the board took action to advise council to continue with settlement negotiations at this point. Under item number 2A, the board met to consider the issues related to the industrial disability retirement of Brian Sucatre. No action was taken. That matter will be addressed in open session. The board also met under item 2B to consider the industrial disability retirement of Philip Zidek. No action was taken. That matter will also be considered under the open session agenda. And finally, the board met with legal counsel under Government Code Section 54956.9C. No action was taken.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to our presentation items. The first one is Chief Harms.
Thank you. Director Clark is celebrating 10 years with the district as a director. And in Director Clark, a little quiz for you. In 2007, do you know who won the Super Bowl? No, well, it was the Colts. And quarterback? You're on the line again. Peyton Manning, very good. How about the president?
2000? Oh my gosh, I'd have to think.
No, I put you on the thing. It was President W. Bush at that time. So I just want to congratulate you on 10 years of service to the district. Sorry about that. You guys all know I'm going to have a quiz for you. But one thing that, and I've only known you for a short time, but when I talked to folks and talked about you being here for 10 years, is if you look at 2007 to today in 2017, of the time that you have served has been probably a really good time for the district, but it also has been a time that has been difficult, and a lot of that difficulty has been due to budgets. And for you to be here and to be able to maintain during that time is for me is very impressive to look at that. And people say some things about you, that you are consistent, that you always have the welfare of the members, the welfare of the district, and that truly your heart is into what the district does, which is provide service each and every day out there. So congratulations on 10 years, and I have a little gift here for you. Congratulations.
1, 2, 3.
It almost seems like it was yesterday when I got on this podium, this dais, and I was so nervous. I couldn't even get words out of my mouth. I'm really basically a shy person, and so when I first started out, I used to be really conscious about the cameras and all that, and nowadays sometimes I didn't even realize that we're on TV and all this kind of stuff, and it's been an honor. I have, like you said, Chief alluded to, that I've been through some of the best times and the worst times. Let's see, you would be my 5th fire chief that I've worked with, and I thank Director Gould, and Kate Jones, Director Jones. They have helped me a lot through this process. I don't know what I would have done without them at the beginning. And I am just so grateful and thankful to have the opportunity to serve this district this long and serve our constituents. And I will continue to do that as I continue in this term. So thank you very much, and it's much appreciated. I'm honored to receive this little award.
Thank you very much, Director.
Thank you.
Move on to action item number 2. This is Director Orzali.
I could do this from here just as well, or I can.
Pleasure.
All right. Well, fundamentally, this is a proposal that we adopt as a practice, having some other individual or agency serve in the role of lead negotiator. And as I attempted to outline in this issue, I think there are several reasons for it. First, the role of lead negotiator is something that is just tacked on historically to the chief's role. And in doing that, we pay very little attention to the amount of additional work and time that requires. The preceding chief told me that at the height of their negotiations, it was taking 40% of his time to serve in that role. That didn't negate in any way the responsibilities he had. It simply added 40% to his time. The second part of that is, in the course of doing that, it also causes the chief to be viewed as lead negotiator year-round, and as opposed to being part of a negotiating team. So his interactions with labor, his interactions with membership are always viewed in that light of by the way, he's also lead negotiator. The third, and this is a perhaps more sensitive issue, is the perception that as the role of chief and lead negotiator, it leaves the chief in a role that is sometimes perceived as actually negotiating for himself. And I can tell you that in none of my experiences with the fire service has that been the case. In fact, I would tell you that the last negotiated contract actually wound up taking things away from the chief in those settlements. So what I'm proposing here is, since the role of lead negotiator is not codified and is not part of the chief's contract issues, and that we simply adopt a protocol that says the chief will, of course, be integral to the process, as will the board president and the other members of the negotiating team. But some other individual or entity will, in fact, have the responsibilities for those day-to-day negotiations. That's it. Questions?
Director, are you envisioning this to be a policy or some other, what do you mean by codified?
Well, that's a discussion for the board itself. That if there is an agreement that that we should do this, then the question is in what form.
We have questions for Director Orzali. Director Jones?
I would like to say that I concur with that we need to take a look at this. And I think it would be very beneficial for our board to pursue this discussion.
Director Gold, you had a comment?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I think the process, first off, I think this is a really good idea that we should have been working on, frankly, a long time ago, because it seems like we put our CEO through the gauntlet and both parties come out bruised and battered and bloodied, and it's not a good thing for anyone on both sides of that. And so I support this concept. What I would propose is that in order for us to vet this thoroughly, let's put it into the pipeline for a policy, whether we land it in administrative or wherever it lands. But I think this is a good opportunity for all parties that it will impact to have a place at the table to have a conversation. Certainly the staff and labor can get together and develop a draft policy where we can then vet it through our policy committee, have it voted on, then the full board weighs in and go through that. And then it's really institutionalized. I think that the challenge we run into with it not being a policy is, as this board changes, practices, chiefs come and go, those kind of things will provide an opportunity to redo all the work, versus if it's in policy, it kind of institutionalizes it, and I think that's a safe place to be for us. It's a safe place to be for both administration and the labor group. So that'd be my recommendation. I think it's a great idea. Let's start it in the policy and let it move from there.
Any other comments or concerns or questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Director Gale?
The chief is the chief officer for this organization, is that correct?
Yes?
Of course. And there should be nothing that would keep from being part of it. Not a day-to-day person involved in it. If I negotiated for AFGE and I worked for the feds also, and the JAG was the final decision maker on that. But he cannot be eliminated completely out of the process. He has to be, he is the nucleus of the process.
As I understand, Director Orzali, it's not to remove him from the process entirely, but to remove that label of chief negotiator and the burden that comes with that from him.
Well, I'm having a difficulty seeing who would we appoint that. But I think the final decision the chief would have extra numbers than anybody else on that team.
And-
Because he has to look at for the total interest of Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District.
Your comments are a good segue to toss it over to Chief Harms, if you have anything to add.
Thank you.
I would have to say that looking at the negotiation side of it and what Director Orzali brings forward truly is that next step that we need to move forward with. And I've had some, I don't want to talk for 522, but I've had some conversations. The ability to, my history on negotiations is that there always has been someone that has been that facilitator in that role. And that person comes to the table, and there's a number of items that will come forward on negotiations. And most of those items that labor and management can sit together, and they come to a place for moving forward. The role of the fire chief is in that process, and it is representing you all as that role. And I think the district is different than maybe a city or other organizations, just because I have a different role here that goes along with being a fire chief. But having facilitator, and I think that there's either folks that on both my side and on labor side that we can look at and come to an agreement that these are the people that can come forward and facilitate through the process and move it forward. So I am very supportive of looking at that. I'm not real sure on, I'm fine on whichever way we go as far as a policy or direction, but it does put us in a position, and right now, with my history from being outside coming in, it's something that I would welcome in far as future negotiations.
Okay. Director Clark, you?
No, I just wanted to say that I concur with Director Gould's assessment, and I support Director Orzali in that concept. So, yeah, absolutely. I think it really puts a chief in a odd position, you know, as it's been expressed already.
Well, it sounds like the request is to have instruct the clerk to get staff to spend some time on this and look at this in some fashion. It sounds like the board's in concurrence that would be the desired effect, that we have staff move forward with a recommendation that ultimately comes up through the policy committee. All right. Do you need anything further or more formal, Melissa? Thank you. We'll move on to action items. We have a industrial disability retirement of Brian Sukatre, and the recommendation of staff is to accept the industrial disability application. Do I have a motion on this?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion, we adopt.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any comments? Could we have the vote, please?
Director Gale.
Yes.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Wood.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And item number 2 is a recommendation from staff that we determine that retired Captain Philip Zidek has not suffered job-related injuries and is not eligible for an industrial disability retirement. Do I have a motion on that recommendation?
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we adopt staff's recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we go with the vote, please?
Director Gale.
Yes, on the staff's recommendation.
Gould.
Aye.
Orzali.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Sheets.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
And Wood.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Move on to reports. As President reports, I have nothing to report at this time. Chief Harms.
Thank you, directors. Probably one of the biggest things in the last few weeks is Mrs. Harms is now here in California with me, and so that's the smile that you'll see on my face here, is that she has moved up here and we're getting relocated and set up. Over the past 2 weeks, effective on Monday, Tom Novell and Tyler Wagaman will both be promoted to ACs. Tom will be the C shift commander, and Tyler will be the B shift commander. We look very forward to those two coming up, and that also causes a battalion chief for Chris Green to be promoted, and that will also be on Monday. A couple moves that happened is one is that Chief Johnson there he is right over there, is Chief Johnson is moving over to community risk reduction, and he'll be serving over there in the position of fire marshal. Also, one of the things that I've asked Chief Johnson to do is to help with his experience with the cap-to-cap trip, and also with a number of the kind of the political sides of things that from an outsider coming in, and with his experience and his connections, whether it's on a city level, a county level, or a state level, is to help with me in maintaining those relationships and working forward. And so I'm really looking forward to working closely with Mo, along with his job as fire marshal, but also kind of a new role of being that liaison with me and working together on the kind of the political side of things that are happening around the area. We have a new hire, an Inspector 1, Rebecca Santos. Unfortunately, we have a retirement that's coming up. Is Scott Andrews, who has become a few times before the board, gave his notice. His last day with Metro will be on May 28th, and he has taken a job up in Placer County. He's going to oversee some radio communications, and a great opportunity for him. Unfortunately for us, it's one of those folks in that communication on that tech side that we're going to lose. And a lot of just knowledge that's going to be leaving. And Chief Shannon is somewhere back there. There he is. Chief Shannon's going to make sure that everything works out just fine for me.
There's no chance, Chief, there's no chance we can just flat out deny that?
We thought about that and everything.
Yeah.
And
What the fudge?
the big guy sitting next to me told me no.
Oh.
So he said I could, but it just probably would have more time in closed session. I came in third place on the Chiefs Challenge on the Fill the Boot, but I am very happy to say for all of you that came out and helped out, I do have my team already put together for next year, and so that's going to be the next one coming. The other thing that just to talk about real quick is that on Tuesday we started a new class of the single roles. We have 11 recruits that are here each day. There's 6 paramedics and 5 EMTs. They'll do their initial training here, then they'll be out in the field staffing our single role units. Upcoming some events is on March 1st. We're going to have a promotion ceremony here at 5:30 in the boardroom, and we'll have 18 honorees of just folks in just this last period of time that are promoting to either the chief officer role or as a captain's role. That ends my report.
Okay, thank you very much. Any comments or questions for the chief? All right. Operations report, Chief Bridge.
Good evening, President Wood, directors. Eric Bridge, Operations Chief. And gosh, you'd think I'd have a whole lot to report out in the midst of everything that was going on over the last several weeks, but I'm happy to report that locally we were able to avoid any events, any major flooding events that may have been witnessed on the news as they suffered in San Jose. However, we were very instrumental in a lot of preparedness. The state activated the 13 Swiftwater teams, and we were deployed for a few days up in the Oroville area, but no action was needed up there on our part. And we also had hosted a few teams, one from Long Beach and one from Menlo Park in our jurisdiction as well, as they were pre-positioning them just in case anything bad were to happen. So happy to report, obviously, nothing has happened in that area. We have had a few water-related calls, but nothing of any significance. We did a total of 4 water-related calls, but again, that's mostly assisting people out of stalled vehicles. So with that said, I'll give you a brief rundown on our calls since our last meeting on February 9th. We've had a total of over 4,000 calls. We had 11 structure fires. And on our EMS side, we've had 2,900 dispatches and are keeping our transport ratio at 71%. And AMR has been very busy and instrumental in helping us out as well with 355 dispatches and transporting their ratios, is maintaining it there at 62% as well. And then one last thing I wanted to note as well too, with the retirement to tag on with Chief Harms, is we are One of our fire captains, Al Getru, is retiring tomorrow. He's had a long, successful career with us as well, and been in charge of our CERT program. So, in addition to his daily duties as an officer, so he'll be missed. So, I wanted to congratulate Al on a successful career. With that, I have nothing further, unless you have any questions.
Comments or questions for Chief Bridge? Thank you very much, Chief. General Counsel's report?
No further report?
Local 522. Good day, Ty.
Thank you. Good evening, Board of Directors. Ty Bailey, Local 522. First and foremost, I want to thank Chief Harms and the board. We did get our contract completed and signed as of last week. So I do appreciate that. Obviously, there's been some case law since the inception of our TA being voted on that we've agreed that we're going to work on and get that finalized here in the future. We had our labor management committee meeting yesterday, Local 522 in the district. It went very well. We set up several different teams with both labor and management, and we'll be continuing or starting that implementation and work in each of those areas. I know last board meeting, one of the directors brought up wall times. I definitely support the board assisting our members with those issues, and I can tell you that the local does support that. Anything that you need from the local to make that happen, we definitely would support that effort. It's not only an issue with the working conditions of our firefighters, but it's also affecting that service delivery. And it's not just here in this region, it's happening all over the state. It's something that does need to be addressed, and we're definitely supportive of that effort. So thank you for that. Placer Fire and Loomis Fire are now 522 members. They voted. We'll be adding 43 new members in March. And then the last thing I'd like to report out on is on March 4th, we have the Firefighter Burn Institute Mardi Gras crab feed and Cajun boil. No host cocktail starts at 6:30 dinner. It's $55 a ticket. I welcome all of you, as well as all of Metro Fire's staff and members, to join us in that effort to raise money for the Firefighter Burn Institute. If you need information, let me know. I'll have Gabriella forward you that contact information. You can actually purchase those tickets online this year. So, and that's all I have to report out this evening.
Comments or questions for Director Rosali?
Ty, could you have that forward just to all the directors?
Yes, I will. I'll send it to all the
That'd
directors.
be great. The other thing is,
excuse me. Sorry about that.
since we're discussing wall time, this is an area of growing concern to me and indeed the other board members. I wonder if we could arrange for a board presentation about the issue of wall time. Just a thought.
Yes, and I would also ask if, obviously, if you have the time to ride along on any of our medics out there in service, you can experience it firsthand.
Ooh,
Director Gould?
that's very appealing, Ty. Ty, I have a question. You mentioned Placer Fire. Is it South Placer?
South Placer.
It's South Placer Fire and
Placer, Loomis.
Loomis.
There's several other
Smaller agencies. in that area.
agencies that are currently speaking with 522.
Okay.
But they did vote 2 weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered if it was South Placer Fire or if it was the
Yep.
Placer. Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Bailey?
I did have one question for the board. And I apologize for walking in late with the presentation item on the fire chief negotiation portion. Is the policy that you're referring to, are you talking about a board policy or a district policy? And could it be a board resolution, not a policy? That would be my question. That would be for you. Mr. Lavra possibly could answer that. And the reason why I ask is because policies and procedures are part of our contract. I don't necessarily know if that would have to be part of the actual district policy. It could possibly do a board policy or a board resolution.
There's nothing that prevents the board from enacting in writing under any one of those ways.
Okay. Thank you.
That issue, though, should be something that's addressed by staff as they're going through this and getting that recommendation
I
together.
agree full-heartedly.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to committee and delegate reports, the executive committee does not have a meeting currently scheduled. We have not met since our last meeting. The Communication Center JPA, Chief Bridge.
The Communication Center JPA has not met since the last board meeting. Our next regular scheduled meeting will be Tuesday, this coming Tuesday, February 28th at 9 o'clock in this chamber.
Thank you. Finance and Audit Committee, back up. California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Gold.
No idea. It looks to me like the next meeting's the 16th of March.
Thank
Director
you.
Kelly will hopefully attend.
Thank you.
My name's not even on there.
Finance and Audit Committee, Director Sheets.
I appreciate it.
The
I get
Finance
to
and Audit
read. Look, I
Committee.
can read.
We met tonight. Mr. Empedrad recommended that we authorize the Chief Financial Officer to enter the contract, the audit services with Richard and Company. And Amanda also presented the financial report and the mid-year budget review. And it appears that we're tracking to be close to budget, and they will present the recommended mid-year budget to the board on March 9th. And the next meeting is March 23rd.
Thank you very much. Policy Committee, back to you, Director Gold.
Oh. Thursday, March 9th. We'll meet again. Be there.
We'll have board members' questions and comments. Director Gale, start with you.
Well, I think next month I'll be going back to DC, and nothing other than that. I'll probably finish going around District 1, see what the particulars are, and talking to some citizens in that area.
Director Gould.
I just want to thank everybody for all the hard work they do. It's really impressive as I get a chance to meet with some of y'all. You're just doing an incredible amount of work. Everybody. It's incredible. Keep up the great work. You're wonderful people.
Director Orzali.
I wanted to thank the crew at 22. I had the opportunity to have dinner with them. It was great to have that exchange. Also, the crew at 27. And I had a meeting earlier this week with Amanda. I really appreciate your taking the time to help me with the issues on another initiative that I'll be bringing forward to the board. So thank you very much.
Director Clark.
Yes. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Chief Johnson on his new position. I think he's going to make a fantastic fire marshal. I've known him for quite a time. He's a talented young man, I guess I should call him. I'm old enough to say he's a talented young man. I also share Director Gould's position on, what he said about the hard work that the men and women are doing it. I think about it when I'm, especially during these storms lately, and, while I'm sitting in my living room and, at a fireplace and have my feet up, these guys are out there, guys and gals are out there going through the storm, it's really, even just driving out in this weather, you really appreciate the work that is being done out there, and I thank Local 522 also on working with us all the time. These guys are also fantastic. What else can I say? Just thanks.
Thank you. Director Sheets.
I wanted to congratulate all the personnel on their promotions and wish those who are retiring best of luck. My dad retired, and he's the busiest guy doing nothing, it seems like. So wish them a long life of happiness. On a more serious note, I wanted to send my condolences to Officer Lucas Chelu, who was a CHP officer who died last night while on duty. It was a terrible, tragic accident, and I wanted to send my prayers to his family and the law enforcement family as well. And that's it.
Thank you. Director Jones.
We can take a minute at the end, moment of silence, too.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations to all the retirees. Congratulations on everyone's promotion, and welcome aboard to all the new hires.
I would just echo what everyone else has said, and I would just add that the loss of Scott Andrews is going to be a big loss. He was a big asset for us. Worked with Amanda Thomas to save, it was some ridiculous percentage, what was it, 40, 60% off the original price of the radio upgrades. So he's a big asset, and he's going to be some big shoes to fill. So good luck to you, Scott. And with that, we'll close with a moment of silence for CHP Officer Lucas Chalou. Thank you.